My name is Andrew. I was 27 when it happened. Even now, when I close my eyes, I still hear that exact sound, the screech of metal on asphalt and my own scream that cut off so suddenly, like someone hit mute on my life. Mary and I had been married for just 6 months. A simple wedding at a little riverside cafe, maybe 30 guests, her white dress that made her look like a cloud, and my borrowed tux from my brother. We didn't want anything huge. We just wanted to be together. No kids yet. Later, we kept saying. When things settle down. I was an engineer at a factory. She taught 3rd grade. In the evenings we'd lie on the couch, binge shows, and dream about a house with a yard. About how I'd carry her when she was pregnant. About our kids running barefoot through the grass. Then, one Friday evening, I was driving home late from work. Rain was pouring like the sky had decided to dump a whole week's worth at once. I was going carefully. My phone rang. Mary. Where are you? I made a dinner and it's getting cold. I smiled into the speaker. 15 minutes, babe. Kiss me in advance. And right then a semi swerved out from the left lane. Brakes. Headlights straight in my face. Impact. I woke up 3 days later. ICU. First thing I noticed was the smell. Bleach, metal, something sickly sweet. Then doctors' voices. Cervical injury. C5, C6. Complete paralysis below the level of injury. It didn't sink in right away. I tried to lift my arm. Nothing. Legs. Nothing. Only my eyes obeyed. And my tongue. And my heart, pounding like it wanted to break out of my chest and run away from the truth. Mary was there. Always. She held my hand, or rather, the part of my hand I could still feel, and cried quietly so I wouldn't see. But I did see. Her eyes were red like a rabbit's. We're going to get through this, Andy. The doctors say there's a chance. Rehab, stem cells, physical therapy. You'll walk again. She kept repeating it like a prayer. A month in the hospital, then they moved me to a rehab center. Every morning, exercises. A nurse would lift my arm, bend my fingers, and I'd try to feel anything. Sometimes, a tiny spark, like static in my thumb. Doctors said, there's a chance. 40 to 50% you'll get partial arm function back. But it's going to take at least 1 to 2 years of intense work. It will hurt. And it will be expensive. I lay awake at night thinking. About her. About how she got up at 6 every morning to drive to me. How she sold her jewelry to pay for extra sessions. How she stopped wearing lipstick because it's not important right now. How she laughed when I asked her to scratch my nose and did it so gently, like I was the most precious thing in the world. But I also saw the other things. I saw how tired she looked when she arrived. How she hid her phone when her friends called, Mary, when are you going to come out with us? You're still young. How she watched couples in the park outside the window, a guy spinning his girl in his arms while she laughed. And in Mary's eyes, not jealousy. Grief. The kind of grief she would never say out loud. I was 27. She was 25. Married 8 months. No kids yet. She still had her whole life ahead. And that's when the worst thought started growing inside me. What if I never walk again? What if my arms only come back in 3 years? And my legs? Never? What if she spends the best years of her life feeding me with a spoon, changing my catheter, wheeling me around the park? What if she wakes up at 40 and realizes she spent half her life next to someone who can't even hug her properly? I couldn't do that to her. I loved her so much that I decided to push her away. That decision took almost 2 months to solidify. I didn't sleep at night. I cried when no one was watching. I asked the nurse for extra sleeping meds. But every time Mary walked into the room smiling, carrying a slice of homemade cake, which I couldn't feed myself, I knew I had to do it. One Friday evening, exactly 4 months after the crash, I asked her to sit closer. My hands had started coming back a little. I could twitch my fingers, but not lift my arm past the elbow. Very slowly, I placed my palm on her knee. I've been thinking a lot. She tensed immediately. She knew that tone. About what? About us. About you. I swallowed. My throat was dry. You need to leave. She laughed. Nervous, short. Are you kidding? I'm not going anywhere. No, Mary. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I want a divorce. The silence was so thick I could hear the 4 drip in the next room. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. Andrew, are you out of your mind? I love you. I'm staying. We'll figure it out. That's exactly why I love you, I said. My voice shook, but I wouldn't let myself cry. You're young. Beautiful. You can still have kids. You can dance. You can travel to all the places we dreamed about. You can meet a man who can carry you in his arms. Not someone lying here like a log, asking you to wipe his tears because he can't lift his own hand. She grabbed my hand. Squeezed so hard it actually hurt. For the first time in months I felt real pain in my fingers. You don't get to decide for me. I do. Because I'm your husband. And I don't want you to become my nurse. I don't want you waking up at night because I'm screaming from spasms. I don't want you to stop living. She was crying now. Silently, tears just falling onto my hand. You're selfish, she whispered. You're being selfish, Andrew. You're taking away my choice. Yeah, I am. Because if you stay, I'll never forgive myself. And if you go, maybe someday I'll stand up. And then we can meet again. Like normal people. And you'll be happy. She stood up. Her face was soaked. She leaned down and kissed my forehead, the way you kiss a child you're leaving at the hospital. I'm not signing any divorce papers, she said. I'll wait. As long as it takes. Even if you kick me out. And she left. I lay there staring at the ceiling. For the first time in 4 months I felt light. Like I'd dropped a 1,000-pound rock off my chest. I did the right thing. I let her go. But that night I cried. Harder than I cried right after the accident. Because I hadn't just lost my legs. I'd lost the only person who still looked at me like I was her husband, not an invalid. 6 months passed. My arms came back. Not fully. I can hold a spoon, type with one finger, even give a weak hug. Legs, no. But I can sit in the wheelchair and drive it myself now. Rehab is moving forward. Doctors say, another year, maybe you'll be on crutches. Mary hasn't come in 3 months. But I know she still calls my mom every week. Asks how I'm doing. If I ate. If I took my meds. Yesterday Mom said, she's seeing someone. Says it's just a friend. But her eyes are sad, son. I smiled. And cried again. But not from pain this time. I did the right thing. Someday, if I stand up, I'll find her. And I'll say, thank you for letting me let you go. And maybe, if she's still free, we'll start over. As grown-ups who know what loss feels like. And if not, I'll still be okay. Because she's alive. Because she's breathing. Because she can dance in the rain and have the children I couldn't give her. I'm Andrew. I'm 28. I'm paralyzed. But I let love go. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like a man again. Not the one lying there. The one who was strong enough to sacrifice. And maybe that's the strongest thing I've ever done in my life.